beautiful SD. Listen to that sound. That's what I'm saying. Hey guys, Bratty Biker here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the channel. So in this video I just want to talk about why it's very less likely for Yamaha to launch the XSR 155, which is based on the R15 platform. It's really tiring. Like every time I open up YouTube to watch some videos, of other motovloggers, all I am seeing is, it's a complete tsunami of XSR 155 confirmed launch or confirmed price or launching in 2 days or launching in 2 weeks, or a lot of crap without any sorts of verification or proper sources. So I started to search for proper sources and I couldn't find much. I just went around Yamaha showrooms and asking them about it, and here is what I got in reply. And most of it, like 90%, 99% of it is they said that we don't know. There might be a possibility, but here is what I am believing is that it might not come to this country. See, one thing is you have to understand the kind of demand that such a motorcycle would have. See, it's a neo-retro motorcycle, something like the CB300RR. Neo means new, but retro means a design of probably the 80s or the 90s. So right now, of course, mine is a 1997 Yamaha RXD. You can see a lot of chrome, the typical 90s Japanese motorcycle. So that's kind of what the XSR 155 is. Very old school design. Also, it's married to a much newer technology. See, the thing is, there is not a lot of demand for neo-retro motorcycles because, of course, these motorcycles look very beautiful back in their day, back in their times. But right now, there is very little amount of people who will be interested in such sort of a neo-retro kind of design. And Yamaha knows it very well, and that's why they brought in the MT15, which is also a naked motorcycle. And actually, Yamaha does not need to, do a certain survey, or Yamaha does not need to do major research on why the XSR 155 might not make sense for them financially in India, because you can look at the new Javas. They look brilliant, they look absolutely gorgeous, but again they are not selling well. You don't see Javas at all. You don't see Javas on the road anywhere. It's very rare. Maybe you can see the 42, but you can't see the Java or just the Java. Because see, the thing is, when you're bringing back something that used to be iconic, make sure that you're bringing it back along with the features or along with the traits which people considered as iconic. So for example, when you take the Java SD, they had a lot of features. They had a hybrid lever that I'd like to call. The gear lever actually turned into a kicker, so that hybrid lever was there. People loved it. It was some sort of identity for the motorcycle. Like if it had a hybrid lever, people would think like, okay, that's probably an old Java or an old SD. That was there. And then there was also an option of you can swap the wheels. Like both the wheels are interchangeable, like the front and back wheels. You can put the front on the back on the front, no worries at all. These things were possible. And the chain, the drive chain, the final chain, it had some sort of a auto lubrication system where some drops of the engine oil also falls onto the chain. So yeah, all these features were very unique back in the time. And of course, let's never miss the iconic two-stroke sound, the long stroke, very lazy kind of sound that the old two-stroke SDs and Javas used to make. And all these resonated with people, and I think this is what made the old Javas and SDs a huge success. And I think that's what is going on for them even today, and I think that's what will go on for them for many years, even decades. So all these features are lost in the new Java. Think about it. See, they got the looks perfect. I won't deny that. They got the looks perfect. It has the dual silencers. But where is that iconic two-stroke beat? Where is the hybrid lever? Why does it feel like another four-stroke motorcycle when you're riding it? So it does not carry these unique features around. And that's why it is not able to resonate along with the success, or it is not able to replicate the kind of success that the old Javas and SDs had. And that's what Yamaha also has learned. See, think about it. When you're talking neo-retro, the one thing that is like hugely successful for Yamaha ever since they started their game here was the RX series. And of course, I am riding one right now. If you want a neo-retro motorcycle, or if you like this kind of old school design, you would just get the old bloody damn thing, right? You would just get the RX and restore it and ride it around, being happy. to feel what the original RX felt like. Why do you spend close to 2 lakh rupees on something that resembles an RX? You would just use half of the money and you can build a proper original RX. You know, you can get a nice RX and then build it up. Probably even a 5-speed, 135 5-speed, or if you're into hundreds, you can get a 100, or if you're into the Z, you can get the Z. So many things are there. So I think that's what Yamaha is also having in mind. They cannot replicate the 2-stroke feel. They just cannot replicate how the RX felt. They cannot make a 4-stroke, and no matter what they do, it's just not going to feel like a 2-stroke. Okay, this is the emotional reason. Now let us come to the financial, actual financial reason is, so when you're going to build and sell a motorcycle here, it is going to involve a lot of costs. Labor, you got to get permission from the government, lot of things are there. You got to get research and stuff. You have to pay your engineers, you have to pay so many people. So for the case of XSR 155, you save costs on engine development. Actually, you save costs on a lot of things, but you incur the same cost in many others. Like you need to have a different headlamp assembly. A lot of things change. Maybe they can cut the cost down, but for them it's just not worth it. It incurs too much cost, and they already have a naked motorcycle in them. So that's what I just want to convey in this video. So these are the reasons why the XSR 155 might not launch here, and I'm sure many people might not agree with what I'm saying, and I'm completely okay with that, because it's just what I feel. It's just my opinion of what I found by asking around with people, asking around with engineers, and asking around with many showroom guys who get first-hand information of what products are going to come into the showroom, you know, even before the launch, because they need to have the product ready so that once it launches, you know, people can start buying them as soon as possible. So they need to have the product with them ready, so they get this information of upcoming products. So yeah, I hope that this video helps you guys. I don't expect this video to get viral like how these clickbait guys do, like XSR 155 launching in 2 days. So that's what you guys have to keep in mind. So I'm confident that the XSR 155 won't launch in India, but I'm not saying you guys to believe it too. I'm just stating the reasons as on why it might not launch here. I'm not saying why it will not launch here. So if you like this video, if you found this video useful to kill your hypes and, you know, probably settle with a nice RX like mine, please do leave a like below. Please do comment your video suggestions, video requests. I shall put in my best efforts to get it done for you guys. And as always, do subscribe to the channel for more 2-stroke content. And yeah, keep the blue smoke alive. Bratty Biker signing off. Have a wonderful day.